Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into Sid's Workshop. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, this is going to be a fun one. We're reviewing Sibylline by Melissa de la Cruz. I read this one because I'm pretty much like the young adult lead at the bookstore that I work at. I love young adult, you know. There is no age limit on young adult. I love young adult. And I like Melissa de la Cruz. I really liked her Blue Blood series. Fucking love that series, right? And I didn't so much like the Witches trilogy. I read the first book and I was like, eh. But I do like Melissa de la Cruz. And you know, this book reminded me about why I like Melissa de la Cruz, right? However, there's a lot of controversy surrounding this book, particularly involving a three-way with a corpse. When I read that online, people are just like, no, this book doesn't belong in you. I'm like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell's going on? What's happening here? So I'm like, you know what? The publisher sent me the ARC, you know, a nice pretty copy, sprayed edges and everything. I'm like, let me read the book and then let me determine if it needs to be out, because Carrie Maniscalco's Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy, you know, first book is YA, but the second and third book are not. You know, I've said this many times. The second book has a fucking orgy in there. She's witnessing an orgy. And then the third book, she gives the prince a blowjob in a boat. And yet no one, you know, no fuss or muss about those two, about that trilogy being a young adult. When I read them, I instantly took them out. I'm like, no, this is not even new adult. This is adult. It doesn't even belong here. So, you know, I took it upon myself and I removed them and I put them in, you know, I did my due diligence and I removed them and I put them in the adult fantasy section with, you know, the rest of her books. So I try to be really proactive like that. And when I read, you know, Good Morning America, really, they picked this book for their young adult book club pick, I was ready to tear Good Morning America apart. I was ready to be like, the fuck is wrong with you guys? First of all, when I finally got to the scene, which is like all the way near the end, by the way, literally the last 30 pages of the book is where that scene is, because I'm like, it's a short book. I'm reading, I'm like, I'm 200 pages in and nothing has happened yet. I got to the scene, right? I read the scene 3 times, because it's literally only a page and a half. Yeah, it's just a page and a half, right? He is not dead. Let me just start by saying that. There is no necrophilia. I don't know why everyone thinks that there's necrophilia. There is some gray areas, and I'm going to talk about those in a second, but there is no necrophilia. Yes, okay? They're 3 friends. You totally know that they're going to have a threesome at some point in this book because it's a true love triangle. Like, longtime friends, and they each have feelings for literally each other. It is very much a true love triangle, right? And the kid, you know, the one who's dead, he has, in the book, he makes out with both of the characters willingly. He kind of initiates it at 2 different points in the book. You know, he makes out with them, right? So he wants them both, and he even says when they kind of like come up, they're like, you made out with him, you made out with her. You know, it's a sense, in his head, he's like, great, I wanted to keep them both, and now I lost them both, right? So his dream come true is having both of them, right? He's dead in the previous chapter, and the 2 other characters, they were making out earlier in a previous chapter or 2. And they find his dead body, and they're being very dramatic about it. And then the one guy whose magical power is like touch, he's like, I think I can save him, but I need your help. And so with her consent, he kisses her and siphons some of her life force. And then he literally, all he does is kiss the dead guy. It's a literal kiss of life. That's it. It's just a kiss. Okay? New chapter. He's awake. He's alive. He thinks he's dreaming because he sees the two people he loves most in the world undressing them. And this is the gray area part here. They're undressing themselves, and this is the gray area. You know, they realize he's alive. He thinks he's dreaming. And then they undress him. Now that's a gray area. I do agree that that's kind of a gray area, but it's not so bad when you're reading it through his perspective, because he thinks he's thinking he's having like an ecstasy, euphoria dream. Like he's like happy. He's like, am I dreaming? Is this real? You know, and I'm just like, oh, so he's really happy, and he is consenting to the activities, right? You know, she puts his nipple near his mouth, and he takes it. He willingly, consciously takes it into his mouth, right? And then she gets on the floor, and then he, you know, starts fucking her. There's no other way for me to say it. He is a willing participant, and there's no ick about it. You can definitely tell that it's consensual. It is consensual. There is no necrophilia. I understand why people think, because he was dead in the previous chapter, but it's like, no. He is no longer dead. So, it's not even a full page, because I'm visualizing. So, the sex starts here at the bottom of the one page, and then it ends up here at the top of the second page, and then that's it. It's not overly graphic, and it's one scene in the entire book. Do I think it should be the young adult book club pick? Maybe not, but also you have to look at the demographic of what Good Morning America is. They're marketing it as a young adult pick, but I really feel like it's only for 16 years and older. It kind of borders new adult a lot, I will say that, but I don't think, you know, is it accessible for everyone who's a young adult reader? Absolutely not, you know. I don't think that that's appropriate for 13 and 14-year-olds. 15-year-olds, kind of touching it, you know, kind of touch and go. But 16-year-olds, for sure. A 16-year-old could read this. They're seeing worse on TV. It's one sex scene. It's not overly graphic or explicit. You do know that there is sex going on. It's definitely not a fade to black, but it's also consensual, you know? So I think maybe it shouldn't be the young adult pick, honestly, because it's not accessible to all ages of young adult pick. However, it's also not what everyone else is making it out to be. It's not icky. It's not non-consensual. There is no necrophilia. I really have to stress that, because that's what's been going on the line. It's necrophilia. There's necrophilia. It's a three-way with a corpse. Like, no! Wires got crossed somewhere, and I don't know why, and I don't know where, you know? But, you know, reading this book did remind me about why I do like Melissa de la Cruz's storytelling. It's kind of effortless. It flows. Her writing style is very concise, short and sweet, to the point, but there is a lot of emotion there, you know? It is dark academia. I like dark academia. It does have a lot of yearning and tension between the characters. I don't really read books for the romance, but if you're going to put a romance in there, I mean, give me something to latch onto, but also don't make it the whole core of the story, because I like the plot of the story with the dark academia. I like the plot twist. I like the magic system here and how really unique it is, honestly. I think the structure, the world building, gave me something to latch onto, and it gave it a nice uniqueness to the storytelling, right? I thoroughly enjoyed the story. I would read a sequel if I'm going to get a sequel. I would definitely read a sequel. 100%. It wasn't icky at all. It was smooth writing. It was smooth storytelling. There is lots of yearning between the three characters. It's not just pure dark academia. It does have some steamy tension in it between the characters. But overall, I like that we have 3 point of views here. And I like that each point of view is different. And I liked the overall tension and storytelling. And, I think her writing style is really, really smooth and really, really gravitating. And, it really hooks you in there, So, yeah. I was looking forward to doing this review. I really, really was. So, yeah. Just please be aware, it is definitely not suitable for anyone under the age of 16. In my personal opinion. 16 would be the minimum, I would say anyone should read it. There are worse books out there that are categorized as young adult that no one has brought any attention to, which, like, blows my fucking mind, honestly. So, this one for sure, I think because it was a Good Morning America pick, that probably put it on everyone's radar, and they all thought, oh yeah, totally acceptable for all ages of young adult. It is not. I do agree with that. But it is a really interesting story. It has a unique, like I said, unique magic system. It is very tension-driven, it is very plot-driven, and it is very character-driven. So I enjoyed it. So, there we go. Have at it. In any case, thank you all for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your book loving friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.